Really quickly before I begin, I would like to apologize in advance for the video quality. I am by no means a video editor, and my computer's camera was kind of freaking out a little bit, so you might notice some poor video quality, but hopefully you can enjoy the content nonetheless. Here we go. Hello again. It looks like I've decided to make another video. As it turns out, it is a little bit easier for me to speak in front of a large group of people than it is for me to speak in front of a camera. So I hope you're willing to put up with me, and if you are, there are a few more things that I would like to share. The first video that I made was focused on just improving lives, individual lives, improving the quality of life that we have, small things that we can do and focus on specifically to make our lives better. And I would like to continue that train of thought. There were a few points in my first video that I went over to help improve our lives. Three major points that focus on those improvements. I talked a little bit about relationships and having better relationships in our lives. I talked about having goals or things that we can look toward to give us purpose, to give us uh, somewhere to turn to, just in general, to give us something to look forward to. I also talked a little bit about hobbies, things that we can do in our lives. And I would like to make a few videos covering each of those points just so that we both have a little bit of a better understanding of where we can begin in applying those things to our lives. So I'd like to start with hobbies today. Hobbies can sometimes be a difficult thing to incorporate into our lives. A lot of us, especially as adults, or even teenagers in school, tend to have less time than we would like. We're busy with work, with papers, with general life, dealing with family situations, dealing with living situations, whatever it might be. There are a lot of things that just eat up our time. And because of that, it can be difficult to find the time to sit down and do something that we like or something that we want to do, something that we really want to be able to do. Because of those time constraints, hobbies are sometimes one of the last things that we look at doing. Uh, they can sometimes seem like more effort than they're worth, taking us away from the valuable time that we have for the things that seem more important. But that's one of the first mistakes that we make as humans, is thinking that those hobbies are less important just because they don't help us with the essential aspects of our life. I would argue, however, that hobbies are one of the more important aspects of our lives. After all, if you don't have something small, something seemingly minute sometimes, that you enjoy, that you really want to do, that takes you away from the normal grind of life and the day-to-day functions that we perform, then life can get rather monotonous. You can fall into a rut, and you can feel like your life is nothing more than eat, sleep, work, repeat. And that just gets old after a while. If we're going to be talking about improving our lives and making them more enjoyable and better and really just improved overall, then we really do need small things in our lives. And they can be absolutely small things in our lives to help us feel like we're having a little bit of joy, like we're having a little bit of an opportunity to grow, a little bit of an opportunity to experience something outside of that day-to-day grind. So, agree or disagree with me on that? Where do you begin with hobbies? If you have time or if you don't, where do you get started? The first thing is finding a hobby, of course. That can be kind of tricky sometimes. Uh, a lot of us have an idea of the things in life that we like, things in life that we enjoy, but that doesn't always translate directly to this is my hobby. The first place to start is finding a hobby. So, how do you go about doing that? I found that the best way is to just talk to the people around me, see what kind of things they like doing when they're not at work, when they're not at school, when they're not paying bills or dealing with any of that other stuff. What do they like to do? Talk to as many people as you can. Me, I'm a bit of an introvert, so it can be difficult to talk to people sometimes. But I'm also in a situation where I have to talk to a lot of people uh, for work, for daily life, for everything that I do in a day. As such, it's a great way to have a conversation. For any introverts out there, great way to start a conversation. What are some of your favorite hobbies? What do you like to do on the weekend? Those types of things. If you ask people, they can tell you and give you a bit of an idea of what hobbies they have, what things they enjoy doing. And you don't have to agree with all of them. In fact, you don't have to agree with any of them. We're all individuals. We all have different ideas and concepts. As long as we're respectful about it, about how we talk to other people, and as long as our hobbies that we want to develop are respectful towards other people, I'd say it's a worthwhile endeavor. So get a few ideas by talking to people. You can get ideas about hobbies you would like to develop by going online. There are a lot of places you can go online to see what people like. I find that Reddit is a great place. Um, Not that Reddit is for everybody. As a website, there's a lot of good on there. There's a lot of crazy on there. um, just use some common sense in going on and on the internet in general. But lots and lots of fandoms, lots and lots of hobbyists, people who have ideas and concepts and things that they work on in their lives outside of the daily grind. And it's a great place where they can share that, and you can pick up some of those ideas. You can go on YouTube, just look at what people are doing. Maybe even throughout all of those moments of going online, watching videos, Reddit, talking to people, you'll hear or see something, some kind of hobby that has been mentioned 100 times that you've never really considered as being interesting to you. But it might spark a little bit of an interest of, hey, I've always wondered what it would be like to go golfing. I've always wondered what it would be like to go fishing. I've always wondered what it would be like to play specific types of board games, video games, things like that, and you've never had the opportunity to. That would be the second part of finding hobbies, is trying things out. If you can try out a few different things, you might find you like them. Again, I would very much recommend that whatever you try out, whatever you want to try out, is something that is respectful towards other people. Um, there are hobbies out there that I don't recommend whatsoever. I don't recommend online trolling. Um, that completely defeats the whole purpose of what I'm trying to do here. I'm trying to improve lives, not make them more difficult, not add negativity, not add conflict. Um, I don't recommend uh, hobbies that include destruction of people's property, um, any sort of violent action, any sort of disruptive behaviors. I don't recommend those. Obviously, everyone's got their own choice of what they want to do, but keep in mind, improving lives means improving everybody's lives, not just making yourself feel good or powerful or whatever it is that you would get out of any sort of negative interactions. Um, so just keep that in mind. But if you do find something you want to try out, go ahead and give it a try. Uh, you don't need to spend a lot of money on it. You don't need to spend too terribly much time on trying something out. It can be something simple. There are plenty of people in your life, on the internet, anywhere, who'd be willing to give you tips and pointers on how to get started, on how to actually go about trying out these hobbies. Um, for example, if you want to try tabletop role playing games, I know it's a bit of a nerdy thing, but it's become popular recently. There are plenty of places you can go online to find resources on how to do it, people who are willing to walk you through it, to talk you through it. Um, if you can find somebody who's participated in these hobbies, they can just give you those first steps. And again, it doesn't need to be expensive because there are just so many resources out there. Uh, if you find after trying out a hobby that you like it, well, keep going. Put more effort into it, more time. And it doesn't need to be very much time. It can be 10 minutes to get started. It can be 15 minutes to try it out. Just make time. We all have those moments when we sit on our phone just playing around because we don't have anything else to do, or we're waiting for food in the oven to cook, or whatever it might be. Take those moments as your research time. Take those moments as your trial time to just practice it and see if you like it. If you don't like it, great. Move on. Find a different hobby. Find something else that interests you that you want to try. If you do like it, go ahead and pursue it. Try and make it happen. Try and figure out ways to grow and develop. Because part of hobbies isn't just having a hobby, but it's developing skills associated with those hobbies. It's developing things that you can do in your life outside of just those hobbies, things that can apply to your interactions in your daily life. That's one of the other important things about hobbies is they teach us skills, they teach us abilities, just opportunities to see the world in a different way and to apply those to our lives. Now, with that being said, some hobbies can get rather expensive pretty quickly, but that doesn't mean that you have to put that money into it. Some hobbies can become time consuming pretty quickly. It doesn't mean you have to put that much time into it. Just put as much as you feel comfortable putting into it. That might mean just a few minutes here, a few dollars there. Sometimes you don't have to put any money at all. But just work with what you've got. Now, everybody has limitations in their lives. Everybody has limits to what they can give to their free time, honestly. But what you do have, make it a priority, because again, it will help you with your life. Now, that last step after you discover all sorts of hobbies you can try, give them some trials, trial and error, see which ones you like, see which ones you don't. Maybe go back to hobbies you've tried in the past and didn't like, but you might now. That last part is developing that hobby. Uh, and again, because it's just a hobby and not your livelihood, not a career, things like that, you can develop it just as much or as little as you want. And there are many safe ways to practice whatever hobbies you develop, many safe ways that aren't going to hurt yourself, that aren't going to hurt other people, whatever that might be. So I'd recommend looking for those. Again, just finding tips. Now, I would like to leave it at that. Anything else regarding hobbies, I want you to discover for yourself. See what it's like. If you already have hobbies and you're just looking for more hobbies, maybe you can use this as a place to start. If you don't have any hobbies and you're looking to start some, or if you used to have hobbies, your life just kind of changed and you don't have time for it anymore, or you've changed, or the hobbies you used to enjoy you don't anymore. This is a great place to start. And the very last and most important thing that I find when it comes to hobbies is sharing them. It's wonderful to have those hobbies in your lives, those moments that you can just kind of relax and be yourself and enjoy it. But there's something special about finding other people, communities, friends, family, neighbors, even strangers who share an interest with you, something that you've developed, who you can talk to. It just helps you feel like you've got a little bit of a place to belong. And that's that last step in improving your life, is just having a little bit more peace of mind about who you are, about what you have going for you. So develop those hobbies. Make them something that works for you in your life. Make sure that you research what you can and can't do, what you're able to do. Uh, Talk to people, get ideas. Practice it. If you enjoy it, keep practicing it, keep doing it. And then share it with people who are willing to support you in it. And that's really about all I have for hobbies today. If I keep making videos, I would like to go over a little bit more of relationships, though that's a bit of a struggle for me. Not that I don't have good relationships, because I have wonderful relationships in my life at this point, but because I was always an odd kid growing up, and interacting with other people wasn't always easy for me. Uh, but I would like to share some relationships and ideas, concepts, informations. By no means a professional, and by no means an authority on any of that. I'd also like to talk a little bit about goals in our lives, setting goals, personal, work-related, whatever they might be. That will do it for now. I hope that you have a wonderful day. Remember, life is pretty great, and you have value. Keep trying to find that value and add more value to your life. See you later. Take care.